Are you struggling to figure out why your business isn't as profitable as you hoped? You're not alone. 60% of small businesses in the UK fail within the first 3 years. And guess what? It's usually not because of a bad product or a bad service, but because of bad financial habits. So today we're cutting through the noise and talking about 7 habits that are keeping your business poor. I'm Lucy Johnson, an online accountant with 8 years of financial experience working with dozens of small businesses. And these are the same mistakes I see over and over again. But here's the good news. If you can spot them, you can fix them. So let's jump in. First up, mixing personal and business finances. I get it. It can be tempting, right? To use your personal account when you're just starting out. But this can quickly turn into a bookkeeping nightmare. When it's time for tax season, you'll have to sift through every single transaction to separate personal from business expenses, which is time consuming and stressful. Not only that, but HMRC might not look too kindly on this either. So mixing your finances is going to make it really hard to claim the correct deductions, and you can even risk an HMRC investigation if things are looking messy. I once had a client who ran a small bakery. She used one account for both her personal and her business expenses. As you can imagine, when tax season came around, she spent weeks trying to figure out which expenses were which. And in the end, she's missed out on being able to claim hundreds of pounds in legitimate business expenses just because she didn't keep things separate from the start. Open a business account right away. Even if you're a sole trader, that way you're going to be able to track everything clearly and you'll know exactly where your business stands financially at any moment. Business accounts with Starling are free to set up with no monthly fees, and they have really cool features that are great for saving tax. Cash flow problems are one of the top reasons why small businesses fail. In fact, 82% of small business failures are due to cash flow issues. QuickBooks actually found that 61% of small businesses regularly struggle with cash flow. That is literally 2/3 of businesses struggling because they didn't manage their money correctly. You might be making great sales, but if you're spending at the same rate or faster, you're setting yourself up for failure. Cash flow is all about timing, when your money comes in versus when your bills are due. A business can look profitable on paper and still run out of cash if payments are delayed or if too much is tied up in unpaid invoices. This is also why I go on about saving for tax, because a tax bill can very much be a cash flow issue if you're not prepared for it. But with your unpaid invoices, if you need help with invoicing, please do check out our video. We've got a 0 invoicing basics for business owners. There's a great book called Profit First, and this really digs into the importance of managing your cash flow by paying yourself first and setting aside money for taxes and profit up front. I worked with a marketing agency that had a fantastic sales pipeline, but they were always waiting for invoices to be paid. They didn't have a clear system for managing cash flow, so when a couple of large clients delayed their payment, they couldn't then cover their monthly expenses. It nearly shut them down. My tip is to use cash flow forecasting tools. There's loads out there. There's ones in Xero, or there's also just basic spreadsheets to track when you'll receive income and when you're going to need to make payments. It's going to save you from any nasty surprises. Many small business owners, especially freelancers or service providers, underprice their products or services out of fear that they'll lose their customers. But this can seriously damage your bottom line. Underpricing hurts profits and can devalue your brand. If your work is too cheap, customers might question its quality. You'll end up working longer hours just to make ends meet, which leads to burnout. This is actually something I struggled with myself when I first started my business. And to be honest, I speak to business owners in general all the time who are struggling with pricing. It's one of those things we all feel like an imposter and we just need to get through. Research your competitors, factor in your expertise, and price your services according to the value that you provide, not just the time that it takes you. So many small businesses operate day to day without looking ahead. Financial forecasting is absolutely crucial for business growth and stability. Studies show that companies with clear financial forecasts are 10% more likely to grow annually than those without. Yet, I see so many small businesses just hoping for the best rather than planning for it. Forecasting isn't just for big corporations. Even a simple 12-month forecast will give you insights into your upcoming expenses, projected income, and when you'll need additional funds. This allows you to make strategic decisions like when to hire, when to invest, or when you simply need to cut your costs. I had a client who ran a local cafe, and before working with me, she had never looked more than a few months ahead financially. When her rent was then increased, it totally caught her off guard, and she didn't have the cash reserves to then be able to handle it. If she'd had a proper forecast in place, she could have planned for the rent increase and adjusted her budget accordingly. The whole point of a forecast is to mitigate the risk and adjust things accordingly. Set aside time each month to update your forecast. Use it to track your goals and see how close you are to hitting your targets. I know it seems like hiring an accountant or a financial advisor is an expense, but avoiding professional help often costs you more in the long run. Many of our clients have both financial advisors and us as their accountants. Good financial advice can help you save on taxes, it can avoid costly mistakes, and free up time so that you can focus on growing your business. Plus, there's a lot of peace of mind that comes with knowing your finances are in order. One of those things people argue a lot about money and finances. It can become a real stress, and we're here to not let that happen. I've seen businesses try to do their own bookkeeping and tax returns only to miss out on thousands of pounds in tax relief that they didn't even know existed. One of my clients saved thousands of pounds, literally, by me prompting them, asking questions about what they paid personally and trying to get to the bottom of an expense that wasn't even going through their bank. Think of an accountant as an investment, not an expense. If you're feeling totally overwhelmed or you just want to make sure that you're on the right track, I offer a completely free 30-minute, no obligation consultation call to anyone who wants to book in with me. So you can simply click the link below, choose a time that works best for you, and let's have a chat and see if I can help. Now, one habit that can seriously harm your business's financial health is poor record keeping. Missing receipts, lost invoices, and disorganized files not only make tax time an absolute nightmare, but also lead to missed opportunities for deductions and also potential compliance issues with HMRC. Now, compliance issues with HMRC can cause all sorts of penalties, interest, and we do not want to go down that route. Proper record keeping is absolutely essential. It's not just for taxes, but for keeping your business on track financially. Without it, you don't really know how much you're spending, where your money's going, or how much profit you're actually making. These are questions you need to be asking yourself on a regular basis and make sure you know the answers and you feel confident with what is in your accounting software. One client had bags of receipts going years back, and we discovered so many unclaimed expenses that could have saved her loads of money. Once we set her up with a simple digital system, she didn't need to worry about scrambling to find receipts or missing out on tax savings anymore. Save yourself the stress. Use digital tools like Xero to track expenses and scan receipts as you go along. It's going to keep everything super organized and make your tax filing a breeze. Plus, you'll never have to worry about losing a receipt ever again. Missing tax deadlines is one of the easiest ways to lose money. Late filings and missed payments result in penalties, both for the filing and the payment. And HMRC is pretty strict about this. This isn't just about keeping the taxman happy, but falling behind on taxes can seriously damage your cash flow, especially if penalties start to pile up. One missed payment can quite quickly snowball into a much bigger financial burden. I once helped a client who racked up, I think it was about £17,000 in penalties from HMRC. We had to literally negotiate a payment plan with HMRC to help them keep afloat. But it was a stressful situation that could have totally been avoided. They came to us, we got them sorted, and we put things in place so that it didn't happen in future. This will continually happen if you do the same thing over and over again. It's like that saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Set reminders for tax deadlines in your calendar and automate your tax savings. Put aside a percentage of your income each month into a separate account so you're not scrambling for cash when the bill arrives. I've got a whole video on this. It's called Accounting Deadlines. I'll link it above. And that's a wrap. The 7 habits that could be keeping your business poor. The good news is, now that you're aware of them, you can start making changes. By improving your financial habits, staying super organized and planning ahead, you'll set your business up for long-term success. If this all feels a bit overwhelming or you're not sure where to start, I offer the free 30-minute consultation, no strings attached. Just click the link below and pick a time that works for you. We can chat about your business and see what we can do to hopefully simplify your finances. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, as always, make sure you give it a thumbs up and you hit the subscribe button for more tips to grow your business. See you in the next one.